Good day to one and all. My name is Christopher Wai Chung. I'm the Early Retirement Masterclass Trainer for Dr. Wealth. And as we head towards 2022, a large number of viewers might be thinking of heading towards a new year with new year resolutions. And a significant number of you would probably be setting these resolutions around the area of personal finance. All right. So what I'm going to do today is that we're going to discuss some of the issues with New Year resolutions and why is it that a lot of people who set New Year resolutions begin the year with a huge bang, but they soon peter out sometime in February 2022. And today what I'm going to do is that I'm going to discuss how to prevent that from happening. All right, so I'm going to talk about how to set financial goals for the new year. I will be talking about how to reinforce these goals with systems, how to build systems with a series of ad hoc tasks or projects, and finally how to maintain these systems that you build with habits. All right, so that by coming up with a system that surrounds your goals, you would have a much higher probability of succeeding in setting out what you want to do at the beginning of the year. All right, so this is the problem that we are facing right now. Right, you notice that every time there is the new year, a lot of your friends will say new year, new me. They would put up stuff on social media. And one of the things that I like to observe is the overcrowding of gyms sometime around January. All right, but we all know that these crowds do not last. And by the time February rolls by, everything gets back to normal. All right, and people soon forget about the kind of resolutions that they set. Right. And so I want to talk about what really works, okay? And what really works is that you need to look at goal setting as just one important part of behavioral change, all right? So when we have a goal, it could be in the form of a New Year resolution, right? But beneath the goals, we should have systems to reinforce these goals. So for example, what kind of system do you need to set up so that your goals can be met? Right? And systems typically consist of two components, right? There are a set of ad hoc tasks, like projects, to get the system and the environment up and running. But there also have to be a number of habits that you have to develop, right? Things that actually permanently change you as a person, right? But habits happen to be something like business as usual, and they need to be sustained and they need to be carried on a daily basis. Okay? All right, so let's start from the top and let's talk about setting better goals, right? And one of the things we learn from self-help books on goal setting and self-improvement is that goals are not enough, right? And there is this idea of goals being SMART, S-M-A-R-T. And what SMART stands for is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So if you want for the new year and you set yourself a goal to be, I want to be financially free, that's not really a goal because being financially free, there is a certain way of interpretation that makes it relatively subjective, right? It is merely a dream or sentiment. So instead of saying that I want to be financially free, why not come up with a goal like this, right? I want $100 a month of investment income before the end of 2022, right? This is a much better choice because you are specifically setting a target of $100 a month of investment income and you want it by the end of 2022, all right? So here's an example of something that I think would have a lot more traction in your life, all right? So set better goals. Now, below the goal, therefore, are systems that you need to build to make your goal a reality, right? There's a saying is that you rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. Okay? Now, how do I get $100 of investment income by the end of 2022, right? There might be a series or number of systems that you need to put into place in your life in order to make that a reality. All right, so in this particular presentation, there are two possible systems. The first system, which I term System A, is a system to generate 5% dividends by investing in Singapore stocks. System B is a system to generate 12% by staking cryptocurrency, right? Now, if you implement these two systems into your life, then $8,000 invested in system A generates 5% or $400 a year. 8,000 invested in system B generates $960 a year. If you add the returns from system A to system B, you have $1,360 a year, which exceeds the goal that you've set for yourself, right? Because your goal is $100 a month, your goal is $1,200 a year. Okay, so let's just go with the idea of reinforcing your goal with these two systems in mind. All right. Now, once you've determined what your system is going to be, then there is the difficult task of setting up your system using a number of project tasks. Each system needs a series of ad hoc tasks that needs to be performed before the environment can be fully built up. All right. So for example, if you have system A, which is to build 5% yields in Singapore equities, one of the things that you need to do before you can make this a reality is to sign up for cheap discount brokerage, like for example, Interactive Brokers, right? Now, on top of it, you also need a way to track the performance of your stocks and allow portfolio tracking to take place, and you can consider using a tool like Stocks Cafe. So that's system A. Now, system B is going to be a lot more complicated than system A because system B is to generate 12% yields with cryptocurrency, and you might have to do some amount of finagling with cryptocurrency wallets, right? So one of the things that you might want is you might want a decentralized wallet like MetaMask or Terra Station. You might also want to sign up with a credit card facility that allows cryptocurrency use as well as staking like crypto.com. And you might also want to back everything up with a centralized exchange to convert your fiat currency to cryptocurrency, all right? But naturally, we know that getting into cryptocurrency can be slightly more complicated than getting involved in Singapore equities. And since we are setting both of these systems up, you will need to actually break down what you need to do in a project work breakdown structure, all right? Okay, so what I'm showing on the screen here is my system for stock trading, right? You will see a central depository that is linked to a bank account, and then it is backed up by Interactive Brokers, which is your stock trading account, as well as your traditional brokerages. Maybank Kim Eng for me for a margin account, DBS Vickers to assess my supplementary retirement scheme account. All right, so that's generally how my system for stock trading looks like. Okay, for cryptocurrency, it's a lot more complicated. You need a bank account with fiat currency, but on top of it, there is a number of wallets that I use. I use MetaMask, all right, and I also use Terra Station, right, for me to actually stake my coins at a higher yield. Okay, I have a credit card, crypto.com, to allow the spending on my cryptocurrency. And finally, there's this entire list of exchanges that I use. There is KuCoin, Gemini, and then there are decentralized finance alternatives like TokenSet and Uniswap. All right, yeah, and so everything fits in together in a fairly complicated diagram. Okay, yeah, so that's my system for cryptocurrency. Now, beneath the idea of building up the environment for yourself, the final thing that you need to do is to maintain your system with a set of good habits, right? So it's pointless getting into your brokerage account, finding a way to stake a little bit of cryptocurrency when there is no real behavioral change before the year end. So for example, what you want to do now is to develop the new kind of habits in your life to ensure that you're able to meet your target of $1,200 of investment income a year or $100 a month, all right? So we do know that if I can set aside $1,500 a month from my salary, I will end up with $18,000 at the end of 2022, right? So I have a decent chance of actually exceeding my goals. Some of the habits that I want to set up for myself may include, first of all, the habit of keeping a lookout for my investments, right? So I subscribe to business news, analyst reports, and I read them every day. And I make it a habit to look for investments that can give me a yield of more than 5%. The next habit that you want to pick up might be the habit of paying yourself first. So on payday, you set aside $750 into your brokerage account and the same amount into your cryptocurrency exchange account. And when the accounts reach a critical mass, you will invest these amounts in the stock or stake the coins to obtain the yields. All right. And finally, the third kind of habit that you might want to establish for yourself is the habit of cutting off bubble tea. So you stop having bubble tea so that you can increase the amount of your income that you can then invest in the various markets of your choice. All right. The number of tiny little habits that you need to set up to make your resolution come true might be not be limited to this list that you have here. You might want to come up with 5 or 6 more. Right? Now, the trick about making habits stick is that you need to sort of arrange it such that there is a particular trigger, right? So, for example, the habit of paying yourself first, right? The trigger is when you see your salary arrive in your bank account, you must immediately set aside your money into your brokerage and crypto account. It has to be automatic, all right? So that you don't have to think so much about it, because if you have to think or internalize it, you might not really want to set your money aside, all right? That's very human, okay? Now, the other thing that you want to do to make your habits stick is to reward yourself, all right? So when your investments hit the $10,000 milestone, you should celebrate with something very small, like a visit to a restaurant, or give yourself a treat, right? So this way, you make these habits a lot more sustainable. All right. So basically, what I've been saying so far is that to succeed, your goals need to work within a proper framework. Okay, your New Year resolution, where you want $100 a month from your investments by 2023, needs to be backed up by what's available in the markets or the various systems that you have. In other words, $5 per annum from Singapore blue chips and real estate investment trusts, 12% per annum from staking cryptocurrencies. And finally, you need an action plan, and that consists of doing the ad hoc roles and the ad hoc tasks that allows you to set up your various brokerages, your bank accounts. And finally, developing the small atomic habits, right? Like paying yourself first, tracking your expenses, or finding ways to reduce your expenses every month. All right, so in conclusion, I hope that you would start your new year by sparing some thought on how to make resolutions work. All right, pick goals that are smart. Look for systems that can make your goal a reality. Determine what are the tasks that you need to set up a good environment for the system to succeed. And finally, determine what habits are required to make the system work for you. All right. And investing course can be useful in assisting you in understanding what systems are available in the markets and figuring out what kind of setup or habits are required to make your goal a reality. Thank you very much. That's all I have for you today. If you like what I've shared with you, hit the like button, comment on this particular video, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.